My name is John Harris, and I'm going into my Discipleship 2 year, which is my 3rd year of seminary. Great question. So what led me to discern priesthood was, honestly, it was just kind of a very natural kind of progression from becoming Catholic. So I entered the church about 5 years ago. And yeah, just kind of as I grew more in relationship with the Lord through daily mass and going to adoration and having Catholic friends and stuff like that, I just kind of became open to the idea that maybe God was calling me to this too. Any saint as my spiritual director would be, I think, maybe there's a little bit of a recency bias here, but St. John Henry Newman, who has been, just recently announced as the newest doctor of the church. And so he was a convert from Anglicanism like me, and I think that I've kind of just been inspired by his story. I think one thing that is just really distinctive about Baton Rouge, at least at Notre Dame, is that all of us have basically decided to all live on the same hall. So a lot of dioceses, they'll have guys, 2nd floor of this hall, 3rd floor of this other hall, whatever, but we've been very intentional about kind of getting to the point where we've all got rooms on the same hall, which is just like a great gift for all of us to be able to have, like our kind of weekly fraternity as a diocese where we all, get together intentionally, but then also just kind of over the course of the week, getting to hang out with one another in more kind of like impromptu moments. So that was really a defining feature of my year that I really appreciated and enjoyed. I mean, obviously you just need to be living the sacramental life of the church, right? And so you need to be confessing regularly, you need to be communing regularly, ideally more than just on Sundays. And then, be in conversation with people, talk to your friends, talk to a priest that you trust and know, be getting advice from people, because oftentimes people can kind of see your life a little bit better than you can. And that can be a really helpful thing. And then also just have the confidence to go forward, knowing that the Lord's providence is greater and mightier than the decisions that you might make. So even if you make the wrong decision, there's still a way that the Lord can account for that, and he can still draw you into his life, even if you've made mistakes in the past, or even if you make the wrong call now, everything can still be redeemed if it's brought to him in humility. And so don't have any fear about being, everything hinges on this one decision, because I think that that's a tactic of the enemy to kind of get us to fear and to be, hesitant to make any decision at all. So I was a history major, so this is an appropriate question. And I just finished a whole year of studying the history of philosophy. So I've, that part of my mind has been refreshed recently. I think, the time period where St. John Henry Newman lived, the 19th century, he lived from 1801 to 1890, I think. But that's kind of the time period where I did a lot of my kind of history research, I guess, when I was in college at LSU. Particularly that kind of era of European history is really interesting. So the 1860s, basically a bunch of these countries were unifying, countries that we think of as just existing forever, like France and Germany, Italy. They actually unified and became countries. Previously they'd been kind of more spread apart, regions or whatever. And that was also a really consequential time for the church. Pope Leo XIII was pope at the end of the 19th century. Vatican I happened around then. So there were a lot of things happening in the church. The church's relationship with the world was kind of being challenged, and she had to respond in new ways that, were kind of unexpected. And so, I think that was really volatile and interesting and intellectually interesting time. Praying for me at all would be fantastic, and I'd be really grateful for that. Just in particular, I think that my focus would be, wholly on the Lord. There are a lot of other things that have the ability to kind of distract or, move you one way or the other, or kind of be a little bit of a red herring where it's oh, there's this thing over here, But just that I would be focused on the Lord, and desiring intimacy with Him every day, and that like my discernment and whatever vocation I wind up, all that kind of stuff, all those questions will be answered in the context of my own daily fidelity, not in me just like thinking hard enough about it, or like watching enough videos about it or reading enough articles about stuff like that's unhelpful. So yeah, if you could just pray for my daily fidelity to the Lord and singular focus on Him, I'd really appreciate it.